Well, for my dad, hardworking, disciplined, shy. He's quite shy actually. And for my mom, gentle, caring, sociable. I think I learned different things from each of them. So I think from my dad, I basically learned discipline. You can't get things done if you have no discipline. I'm the sort of person who will think ahead of what I need to do and what do I need for it. I will plan and I will try to stick to it. So I'm quite good with time. From my mom, I learned about manners, courtesy, being nice to people, carrying on traditions and culture and that sort of thing. The disagreements are very rare, and basically because we don't see each other very often, mostly about family and what's happening with my kids. Because nowadays when he sees me, he says, okay, what have I done wrong now? I said, no lah, nothing, it's like, I just, give him some feedback really. I think he doesn't actually mind people having their own opinions. It's how you present it. So if you're rude, then he doesn't like it because he thinks it's bad manners. But if you can present your argument in a calm way with facts and figures, he's fine with that. In the last few years, since he became a dissident, we have had more in agreement, and on the campaign for GE14 and all that, I think we were very much on the same page. I was 10 years old, so I lived all my life in the Jalan Maxwell house. Yeah. And it was okay, we live in this compound because my mom was head of the Pusat Latihan Kesihatan Luar Bandar at the time. To me, it was normal because my mom always worked. So to me, a mother who goes out to work is the most natural thing in the world. She was a very positive role model for us. She was the second Malay woman doctor, she was the first woman medical Officer of Health, she was the first woman head of the Institute of Public Health. She worked all the way until retirement. I'm not a doctor, I didn't go into the government service, I took a different path. I really don't believe that everyone has to follow exactly the footsteps of the parents. So you do everything, whatever you want to do, you do from the same values. Values of hard work, value of discipline, value of honesty, value of wanting to give back to society and all that. So I chose to be a writer. I chose to work in NGOs, working for women's rights. But I think that it's also imparting the same values. The amazing thing about my parents, they're both doctors, but they let us all do what we want. They never forced us to take medicine, none of us. And so we all did different things. And they were always fine with it. I think the best thing about being a mother is seeing your children develop into full human beings, that they fulfill the potential. And by successful, I don't mean that they earn a lot of money or whatever, but they are good people, they're nice to other people, they work hard. I think, to me, that's what makes me happy. The main lesson I've learned is that you have to have a set of core values in your family. My parents are that generation where you don't express love very openly. Although we're a very huggy and kissy family from young, but we don't talk, we don't express it. But my generation, like my brothers and me, we taught our kids to say I love you. I often hear my kids on the phone talking to my parents, and they'll finish it with I love you, and my parents will reply. And I think my parents gain from it too, the way we bring up our kids, the different type, more expressive type of upbringing than they did with us. Women can multitask. We work it out actually a lot of the time. Except for me, it's not like every day I have to have half work and half home and balance it that way. I don't. I look at the longer term, like over the year, and balance it over the year. So there might be periods where I'm just working. then I will take a holiday with the kids. So that balances it out. To me, I think you cannot have like accounts book, you know. Life is not like that. Your life is not tipped one way or the other. This is a continuous problem. It's not rocket science. We've been telling employers, you have to make things easier for them. So having a crash in the workplace, which some people are doing, and quite nice ones, flexible hours. And nowadays, with the internet, but I think the other thing is that, again, you mustn't focus on just the women and the mothers. What about the fathers? Too much is being put on the mother, and then at the same time you're expected to be the perfect mother and the perfect worker. But nobody expects the husband to be the perfect father. I think it's really important that boys have this father figure in their lives. I was there for 12 years, so of course there were very many unforgettable moments. I met so many people with HIV and they were all different. People really from very different background from me, making me realize my privilege, that I am lucky. I was brought up educated, live a comfortable life, but there are so many people who are not. Life just hands them a bad deal. To me, that was the biggest learning experience of my life. You know, they gave birth to this child. Your responsibility is always to the child first. I think it's really important for parents to be open to their children. You have to be engaged and know what your kids are up to. Like, whatever it is, our children are still our children. And our duty is to love them and to stand by them always. When you go and visit a country, you're really entering a different culture. Even if they might look the same, actually they can be very different. I realized that there's no place where women could get information for when they travel. And for women particularly, I think this is important. I was going to Pakistan and I had no idea about Pakistan. And I realized there's no information on this. So that's why I started Zafigo.com to talk about this sort of cultural issues and also about safety. Sometimes you do the wrong cultural thing, also you can endanger yourself. And also because I noticed that a lot of women are now traveling on their own. And Zafigo X, which is more like a gathering of women who are interested in travel, to share tips, to be inspired. Because it's so amazing, there are lots of women who are now traveling. I don't know about soon, but yes, I would love to. I just completed my master's in creative writing in non-fiction. I really want to write a book. The only trouble is finding the time. I really need to carve the time out and tell everybody, don't disturb me. I have to sit down and write. My previous books were all compilation of my column, but I don't want to write like that anymore. I want to write a book A to Z, you know, from start to finish, not just compile. I want to write in the way I learned, which is creative non-fiction, which means a lot of research. Interviewing people, which means getting their permission to be mentioned. I mean, it's harder actually to write non-fiction because it has to be true.